department continues to support diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation. Now, as the President has said, even as we continue to prioritize diplomacy and dialogue, we must also increase readiness. In support of its obligations to the security and defense of NATO and the security of its citizens abroad, at the direction of the President and following recommendations made by Secretary Austin, the United States has taken steps to heighten the readiness of its forces at home and abroad so that they are prepared to respond to a range of contingencies, including support to the NATO response force if it is activated. As you have heard me describe many times, our commitment to the security of NATO allies and our Article 5 commitment are ironclad. As the President has also made clear, the United States will act firmly in defense of its national interests in response to actions by Russia that harm us, our allies, our partners. As part of that commitment, the Department of Defense maintains significant combat-capable forces forward in Europe to deter aggression and enhance the alliance's ability to defend allies and defeat aggression if necessary. The United States also has a commitment to provide forces to the NATO response force, or otherwise known as the NRF, in the event that NATO should activate that construct. Now, as you may know, the NRF is a multinational force made up of land, air, maritime, and special operations forces, all components that the alliance can deploy on short notice wherever needed. Altogether, the NRF comprises around 40,000 multinational troops. Within the NRF is something called the Very High Readiness Joint Task Force, or VJTF. Now, this NRF element, which is about 20,000 strong across all domains, includes a multinational land brigade of around 5,000 troops and air, maritime, and special operation forces components. I want to provide some facts on these preparations that will reinforce our commitment to NATO and to the NATO response force and increase our readiness. Secretary Austin has placed a range of units in the United States on a heightened preparedness to deploy, which increases our readiness to provide forces if NATO should activate the NRF or if other situations develop. All told, the number of forces that the Secretary has placed on heightened alert comes up to about 8,500 personnel. We'll continue to provide updates in coming days about these decisions, but specifically this will ensure that the United States and our commitment to the NRF is consistent with their readiness for rapid deployment, again, if activated. In the event of NATO's activation of the NRF or a deteriorating security environment, the United States would be in a position to rapidly deploy additional brigade combat teams, logistics, medical, aviation, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, transportation, and additional capabilities into Europe. Again, I want to reinforce that as of now, the decision has been made to put these units on higher alert and higher alert only. No decisions have been made to deploy any forces from the United States at this time. And when I say heightened alert, in some cases, some of these forces were already on a heightened posture, readiness to deploy posture, and the Secretary decided to make it even more, shorten the tether even more. So in some cases, units would go from, say, 10 days prepared to deploy. Now they're at 5 days. That's not the case for every unit that is being notified that they're on a heightened alert. Some are simply more ready and postured that way than others. The idea, though, is that all of these units that he is putting on prepare to deploy will be ready to go on a shortened time frame. Again, no final decision has been made to deploy them. The Secretary will continue to consult with the President, and the United States will maintain close coordination with allies and partners as we continuously review our force posture and make decisions regarding movement of forces into and within Europe. As always, we will remain in close coordination with allies and partners, as well as NATO and other multilateral organizations, as we continue to review our force posture, as we make decisions regarding potential movements of forces into Europe, and as we review the disposition of U.S. forces on the continent. And with that, we'll start taking questions. Bob, I think